Let me fix it.
Welcome back to The Artist Way, week 11.
I can't believe it.
I cannot believe
I cannot believe it. And you know the thing I have to say is the thing that you really helped me with through this process, Fran, is and it's kind of bled into my actual life.
Yes.
That I was like, I have to do it. I have to read everything. I have to do all the tasks. And I feel like a failure if I don't. You were kind of like, no, we're just doing this for ourselves. Like, we don't owe anyone anything.
No.
That is, and in my actual, I'm like, if I'm not being paid for this, I'm just doing it for fun. It's okay that I falter and trip.
Yes. I saw a comment from someone, and now I'm kicking myself for not screen capping it, but they said they're doing 1 chapter a month. They're doing a full year of The Artist's Way. And I was like, that's actually genius.
It really is.
That way, you really don't have to put pressure on yourself. Because, you know, I've had similar feelings where last week I didn't read the chapters. And I had some days where one week I hadn't done my artist date. And I was like, oh, I'm going to stress it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to like break my back here. I'll just do it next week. It's totally fine. So yeah, I'm proud of you for giving yourself that grace. How did you do week 11? Your pages,
well, it was also
your
a
date.
disclaimer.
Oh. Oh, it's real easy to give yourself grace.
When you ain't done shit.
He's like, I really just feel like we all need to give ourselves space to grow and change. And sometimes you don't do the pages.
Your bandwidth is your bandwidth. You know, you can do what you can do. So this week I'm in tech class. You know, I'm an actor. I'm performing in the show. And we've had what we call these 10 out of 12 rehearsals where we go from 2 to midnight, you know? So I'm fucking tired. I couldn't do an artist date. I do have time to do one tonight. So I'm going to do, last week's tonight. And I haven't decided what that is yet. I might go for a walk. I might go to a movie. I have the night off. So I'm trying to figure that out. But my pages are good. I do my pages every day. Pages, I did falter in the pages, but because I wrote 2 and then I was like, you know, I don't have anything else to say. I showed up. I did it. I think that's it. You know,
I think that's totally fine.
So, and I also only read, I think, half of the chapter, right?
Okay.
Just because of what I had time for. What about you? How'd you do?
I did great on my pages. My artist date, I talked to you about this off mic. I went to see a 1-person show that was directed by a friend of mine and was starring an actress comedian that I'm not super close with, but like we're new friends. I left really inspired. Putting together a 1-person show, which Delon, you and I have talked about. Delon has been circling the drain on this 1-person show for multiple years. The show was part of, I don't know if clowning is big in Boston, but clowning is having a moment in Los Angeles. Yes. So this actress friend of mine is also like doing clowning.
Wow.
And so this was part of like a clowning festival. So it was part stand-up, part clowning. And it's interesting because it's not clowning in the like red nose sense. It's more of like energetically clowning in that it just like gets really weird and like loud and it's like interactive. And I have some friends that do clowning here. They're called Clowns of Color. And every time I've seen their show, what's really interesting, the way they explained it to me, is that part of clowning requires you as a performer to have a problem you're trying to solve, and then you're consistently making the wrong choice in order to try and solve the problem. So it's like an escalation of, you know, an idea or a situation that just like keeps getting exponentially worse and bigger and more ridiculous. And so that was just like really fun because the whole show was just like in your face. She had props. She was sweating. She was running around. And so I took a lot of notes, and I had a lot of things that I kind of made me think about my own writing process and like what it is that I want to, you know, achieve. I'm not going to go the clowning route. But I think like the vulnerability of getting up there and just being like, ah! Sometimes it made me uncomfortable. And I was also like, but maybe I need that.
Yeah.
I need to be uncomfortable a little bit. And like, what is that saying about me as a performer? That I'm like, girl, what's going on? But like, that's kind of what art's supposed to do, right?
I really do think it is. It's not always supposed to make you cringe and
Mm-hmm.
make you feel awkward, but when it does, I think we shy away from that because we
Yes.
those are uncomfortable feelings.
Yes.
And I think the best art not only forces you into those feelings, but really helps you work through them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? There's some things that you and I have talked about. This play called Slave Play. I
Yeah.
think you've read it. I
Yes.
saw it a couple times, and it's meant to be evocative and
Mm-hmm.
controversial, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people left that play, and I don't think that they had enough room to work out their feelings around it. There were some
Mm-hmm.
talkbacks that got, I don't know if you remember this, friend.
Heated.
Heated.
Yes.
Some white people really were uncomfortable with it, and black
Mm-hmm.
people as well,
Yes.
And I don't know. I think there's a place and time for that, but I think those are really intellectual conversations that emotional, intellectual as well, that you really have to be willing to do.
Yes.
Be willing to engage with. If you're just asking like a person to walk in from the street and kind of experience that without guiding them through unpacking it, I think
Mm-hmm.
that can be problematic. So I say all that to say I love shows or art that pushes the buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that you experience that discomfort. And I wonder how it's going to manifest, potentially in your own work.
Yeah, me too. I really took a lot away from it, and I didn't highlight a ton in week 11. But one thing that I did highlight is sometimes I will write badly, draw badly, paint badly, perform badly. I have a right to do that to get to the other side. Creativity is its own reward. And I really needed to hear
I
that.
highlighted the same thing.
As a writer, I feel this more as a writer in the sense that like when I put something on the page, the permanence of it is very like makes me feel icky, and I have a tendency to like edit as I write. We've talked about this a number of times. And so really just giving yourself the freedom to say like sometimes I'm going to make stuff and it's not great. But like the process is again something we keep circling around. The process is the work, not just the finished product. Another one that I highlighted is to kill your dreams because they are irresponsible is to be irresponsible to yourself. And I really liked that because I think this is something I've really struggled with is trying to apply a sense of reality to my dreams where it's like, well, I can't do that. It's too late. I don't have the money. I don't have the funding. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I haven't done it yet, blah, blah, blah. And, the underlying thesis of what would J-Lo do is not give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't
have
care.
faith in yourself.
Have faith in yourself, but also have a little bit of like delulu.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit of like, what if it, we're so used to saying, what if it doesn't work out? But what if it does work out? And so that was a thing that really spoke to me.
And I'll say the more that you kind of develop your career in the arts, specifically in the entertainment industry, the more you see inside baseball and what it takes and all the machinery and all the money to get it to in front of eyes, and so you think, God, that's a lot of work, or God, I don't have the access to those things. And so you start killing it off because of the reality, which I completely get it, like you're saying. But to the delusional part of things, I have talked to some people and they've been like, one gentleman was like, I wrote this gospel show and I want to be on Broadway. And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, how do you think I should do that? Should I do a reading in New York? And I was sitting here being like, oh, sir, you have no idea how this actually works. But I commend
gonna work out for you.
Absolutely. I'm a CEO shit on Broadway because you are so determined to just get it. You're moving whole hog, full steam ahead with it. And I'm sitting here being like, should it be a 2 or a, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of value in being delusional and just kind of pushing through.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight a comment from Monster Loves Candy from our week 8 recap. And it says, I'm behind, but God, this episode and chapter hit. The anxiety, being too old, the perimenopause. Thank you for your honesty. I feel like we should have a live show class about this course. I will be rereading this chapter. That just makes me think maybe we need to do something celebratory when we finish, it's
Mm.
also our anniversary of our move to YouTube is this month. So I thought
Oh.
that was something we could also talk about. But yeah, on the perimenopause tip class, I started hormone replacement therapy, and your girl, it's a whole new
The
world.
hormones are replaced.
The moans, I'm moaning.
Girl, she texted me, y'all. She said, I'm sleeping through the night.
Listen,
I'm proud of you.
my little dog, oh, my little man, but he's always coughing and making noise. Let me tell you, I was in a deep sleep. I kicked his ass out of the bedroom. I said, get out of here. You are not about to wake me up. I don't even remember. I put him out, closed that door, got back into bed. I woke up. I was like, where is my dog? Oh, I said, no, you're not going to be in here making noise.
Not in this piece, not disturbing this piece. Go ahead, Fran.
Listen, it's made such a big difference. Like sleep, it really has disrupted my productivity and my ability to be creative. And I have to, come up with so many ideas at work, and then I'm doing the artist way, and I'm writing, and I'm doing stand up, and I'm making videos. Blah, 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 blah. I did not realize how much it was impacting me until I got 4 consecutive nights of like really good sleep.
Yeah.
Game changer.
I mean, I will also say, just to put some reality on that, girl, that's a lot of output, as I said to you before. So the idea that you're ideating that much is like, yes, you're burnt out. Yes, you're being like, ooh, where you're at the bottom of the fucking barrel because you had to come up with so many ideas.
Scrape.
What I mean? So give yourself some credit. It is sleep, but it's also you are ideating a lot.
Yes. And you know what? I will say though, even with that, I've been putting out bangers.
Yes, you have.
Bangers. And I really do feel like the artist way has been a big part of that. Delon, every single time I need to work on something for work, or I'm trying to come up with like new jokes, or I have an idea for something, I go on these walks and I feel like I'm inside that meme, A Beautiful Mind, where everything is doing like this. And I'm like, I can see the matrix. I'm like, yes, this and this and this and this. And then and, numbers aren't everything, but it has been really rewarding to see these ideas that I've put out do so well. And I'm thinking after watching that show, how do I take that same process and put it into my writing and let the writing incubate rather than I got to turn this around and present it to the client. I got to turn this around and post it online. Like, no, how do I nurture the idea for myself?
Yeah, and I mean, you're very used to the output of it all, not only because of the internet, but also being in writers' rooms, right?
Yes.
The script has to get done. We have to figure
this
it
week.
out. Yeah, so you're really used to that. So I think letting it incubate and letting it marinate like a one-man show for 2 or 3 years might really help. I also just want to double down on what Fran said about taking walks. I get so many ideas on walks as well. So when you're stuck in a moment, yes, walk around the block, a mile or two just to get yourself going, and not with headphones on, right? Just you and your thoughts. You and your thoughts.
Yes, I usually always listen to music. I really have been challenging myself to not listen to music as I'm walking around, and it's been so helpful.
Yeah,
and
it clears the mud. It clears the things that are happening out there, because I think there's also something about the physicalness of like doing something. Running, sometimes I get a lot of ideas. At the gym, I get ideas, right?
Oh, driving. I will turn on the voice notes on my phone, and I'll just blah, 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 like. And you know what I also did, Delon? Because Delon and I send so many voice notes to each other.
We do.
On the voice notes now, they have a little transcript. I've been going back to those transcripts and looking through and being like, oh, I have dropping gems in here.
Oh, girl,
Jokes.
I will read your transcript before I actually listen to it.
Yeah,
because I still want to hear your tone of voice.
Yes,
and sometimes it doesn't transcribe it perfectly.
Yes.
And so I'll be like, I'll read it through so I can know how I want to respond to some things. Because, sometimes I can get a little...
Sometimes I'm at work and I'm like,
well,
I'm really not supposed to be looking at this, but I will read through the transcript.
Right. So so-and-so doesn't talk to me. Anyway, one of the things that I wanted to highlight was this comment. To be an artist is to recognize the particular. To appreciate the peculiar, to allow a sense of play in your relationship to accepted standards. to ask the question why. To be an artist is to risk admitting that much of what is money, property, and prestige strikes you as just a little silly. And I thought
Mm.
that spoke to me on multiple levels, because I don't think money is silly. I don't think money or prestige or any of those things is silly. But what I hear her saying is that because in a capitalist society, y'all know I harp on capitalism, because in a capitalist society, we do elevate that so significantly that it kind of eclipses the creative part. Like
Yeah.
you said at the beginning, right? It's about the process. It's just about doing it. That stuff helps us to continue to create the art. But again, that is not the point. That is
Yes.
not the
It gets
point.
in the way.
Yeah. And I think there's also a sense of, she talked about a sense of play, but I think that's a sense of curiosity too, the peculiar. Yeah, the story goes from A, B, and C, but what if we put C in the middle? What would that
Yes.
do? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Quinta Bronson had a really great viral video that she had. I forget what interview she was doing. Quinta Bronson, who wrote Elementary? No.
Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary, excuse me. Thank you. She also worked for your former boss, Larry Wilmore.
Yes, they developed a show. I introduced them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I pitched her as a guest on
Wow.
on Nightly Show
Look
when she
at
was
you.
still working at BuzzFeed. I know. Give me an Emmy. I need a cut of the Emmy, Quinta.
I mean, you helping people's careers is everything. You've touched everybody.
Yeah, I have.
But you talked about Larry Wilmore explaining to her that, like, with writing, if there's a $5 bill that's found, the 5 different characters would pick it up in a different way. And then she goes through her Abbott Elementary cast, and she describes how all of them would pick up the $5 bill.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so specific. It's curious.
Yes.
It's interested, and then the success of it is awesome. We always want that. But I really I took away the curiosity or the interest in the characters around that, the interest in the writing and the storytelling. That was really, it was a cool gift that he gave her.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Larry is such a brilliant writer and creative, and, talk about he shepherded Quinta's career. He shepherded Issa's career. Like, he's done so many really smart, creative things. I really credit him with giving me my first TV job, but also really teaching me so much about the writing process and about, being on camera and being a good active listener when you have guests. And he really is such a talent in that regard. I love that analogy about the $5 bill. I use something very similar in my writing where if you've got a bunch of characters in a scene, if you covered up their name on the page, you should be able to tell who is who because they all sound different.
Yeah.
And you can hear it on the page. And so those little tricks, I feel like, are so special because, to your point, Delon, it's not about winning an Emmy. It's about making the work good on the page and really knowing what your voice is and knowing who your characters are. That's something I learned when Sham and I were working with Kay Cannon. We did, and class Kay Cannon, she worked on 30 Rock, but also she wrote all of the Pitch Perfect movies. And she's now a very prolific director. But we would do so much character study, just like writing. And we did a little bit of this in acting. Maybe you did more of it at Michigan, because again, I did leave you. But like writing these character bios, Viola Davis has talked about this a lot, that like when she is working on a character, she will just write and she will just write and she will write and she will think about every corner of their life. And we did a lot of that working with Kay, where it's like, what was their childhood like? What are their fears? And all of that stuff is like not on the page, but it is on the page.
Yeah.
Like, you're not necessarily talking about their childhood in the scene, but kind of like what we're unpacking through the Artist's Way, all of those experiences influence every part of your life. You are who you are because of stuff with your mom and stuff at school. And, one time you broke your leg on the merry-go-round and now you're fucking afraid of merry-go-rounds, right? Like, it all plays a role in how you move through the world. And so giving yourself time to investigate that as an artist, but especially if you're trying to tell stories, is so important. And yeah, I think that's going to be like my big takeaway from this process is a lot of like self-reflection and research and investigation before I actually do the work, rather than being like, I'm doing a thing. It's like, no, I need to like watch and read and think and like sit and really give my brain time to cultivate what it is I want to do before just diving head first and then being like, why isn't this working?
Oh God, you're speaking my soul. But I think I needed to hear that in my own writing process, just
Mm,
because that's probably one of the reasons that it hasn't come to fruition, is because I am just trying to write. I'm trying to write music. I'm trying to write something that's poignant and specific. But I also am taking that to heart because I say this to my students a lot with regard to acting. Right,
mm,
I have them do specific in every unit. I have them do acting packets. I won't unpack that here, but I have them do this like what might seem like busy work. I say to them, I'm like,
mm.
this is not going to be in the actual performance. But if you don't answer these questions, if you don't answer the whys, when I start asking you questions about why you're doing certain things or why you're
You
not
won't
doing
have the
certain things,
answer.
you won't have the answer. And moreover, I will direct you. I will just direct you, and those will be my ideas. But
Hmm.
what we are trying to do is get you to start being curious enough on the page, and then when you're up there, so that when your director asks you, you have a solid answer, but also you can discover for yourself. We perform the song several times when you're up there. I teach musical theater class, if you don't remember, and acting. We do it several times when you're up there, and every time you should discover something. Every time should
Hmm.
be a little different, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you don't do that paperwork, which might seem boring, which might seem kind of innocuous, I don't think you'll be as ready to tackle what you're doing when you're up in front of the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, because we talked about this before, that you had like run into somebody who had a theater or a something where they were like looking for people to perform, and you
Oh
talked
yes.
about maybe putting up your thing. Did you set a date for that? Is that happening?
I got the dates. I got everything. They were, not only did I get the date, they were also
Yes.
like, "Hey, would you like to be a part of this other thing? Would you like to sing here
Mm.
at this brunch thing?" But then I realized through my pages, I was like, "Delon, you are talking a lot about you're doing too much. You're doing too
Oh,
much. You're doing too
yes.
much."
Yeah.
So I teach full time. I'm taking on an adjunct job. I am doing what I have this show and two other shows. I have a really
Mm.
big show. I'm playing Jean Valjean in Les Mis in the spring. I can finally say that here because we've announced it. I
Yeah.
have a lot of music to learn. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do for myself? I'm not going to take this on. I was like, doing a little cabaret or doing a part of my show is not what I'm ready to do, but I do have
Hmm.
time in the fall to write. So
Yes.
that's the consolation. I don't want to perform it necessarily, but I do want to do more writing.
Hmm.
But thank you for
Hmm.
asking and following on that, because
Yeah.
I did have the conversation with the guy. He said any dates in October, and I was like, oh, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
then I had to backpedal, just like, oh, and you know what? Now that I'm saying that, this could be the artist's way. On both,
Mm.
I could be putting this in my way and be a little fearful, if I'm
Hmm.
honest.
Yeah.
But I am going to listen to kind of my overwhelm of like, I think I might be doing too much, and I need to see how the extra teaching job is going to be in the fall, and then
Yeah.
do a little writing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I will let you continue to process that.
I appreciate it.
I won't project onto it, but like it does sound like you're rounding the corner on like how you want to approach that, because that's the thing I'm thinking about a lot right now. I've done all this writing, I've done all these artist dates. What am I going to take with me going forward, and what is the thing I'm trying to accomplish? I want to write this feature. I submitted to New York Comedy Festival with my friend Thenya, that you know, but we've already decided that we are going to put this up here in LA in September. And so I have a date. We're looking at venues right now, and I'm like, I got to have this half hour, maybe 40 minutes, um, figured out. I don't
Wow.
have a choice. And I also I submitted to a comedy festival in Colorado that's happening in October. So I'm like in the process of just like keeping track of comedy festivals and submitting and seeing where that goes. But yeah, I'm just like setting some dates. And so I'm, you know, challenging you to think about some dates for yourself too, selfishly, so I could try to come if possible.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. And I think again, I don't want to say that I'm resisting it, but I do think I
I know
have
you
to
have a lot
get
going on.
I have to get some stuff out of the weeds, you know.
Yeah.
I think I really that's a lot of cleaning not only my mind and my spirit, but my calendar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But class, take these walks, like Fran was saying. Take these walks. I think I might. I have the evening off. I'm supposed to do the artist date, like I said today.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll do that. I'll just take a little walk. Maybe I'll walk to the movie theater or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Walk to the movies and go see a movie. Dude, go see The Invite.
oh, the invite. You were saying that's the one.
Oh, that is the one. We need to do a review of that. It
Oh,
was incredible.
yeah, and Olivia Wilde hasn't really had like a big hit yet. She's had
Oh
a
no,
couple
this
films.
is Olivia's moment. I'm listen,
Okay.
acting, directing, she really killed it. And then the script is co-written by Rashida Jones.
Okay, Rashida.
Let me tell you, Miss Rashida. And it's also based on a Spanish film,
Yeah.
which I would love to watch as a compliment to it. But I won't say too much, Dewan. It's fantastic. But I think this was also the artist's way working for me in that I left that film so inspired, and it feels like a play. It's one location. It's just four
Mm.
people, and it's just over the course of one evening. I feel like you will be so inspired in your writing process, and that moment that Quinta mentioned about the $5 bills, each character is so distinct and specific. You know exactly who these people are.
Mm.
Everything feels so grounded and motivated, but it's so funny. We were cracking up the whole time.
Wow. Okay, that's an endorsement, class.
Yeah.
Okay, putting it on the list. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I really
Great.
dig that. All right, listen. Go ahead, class. Go ahead with your pages. 2 more weeks in the artist way. Even
No,
if
this,
you have,
this is week 11. We got
oh my
one
god,
more week.
one more week.
One more week.
But I do have some tasks that I still need to go back through, and
Sure.
that I want to. I still haven't done that collage from like week 8, so I'm still
Mhm.
going to continue to work on it. And I hope you are too, especially if you're just joining us late.
Yeah.
But good luck. Let us know in the comments how you did this week. What was your artist date? How were your pages? And we'll see you here next week.
Yes. Congratulations. Week 11 in the can. Bye.
Bye.